What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is Sunny for those of you who are new to my channel. I hope everyone who's watching this is having a wonderful Friday. So a couple years back, I came across a video by Salty DK Dan where him and a couple friends read Diary of a Wimpy Kid fan fiction. I remember really enjoying it back when I first saw it in 2019, and I've always wanted to do my own rendition of it. Since then, I've kind of forgotten what happens in these fan fictions, but I decided to pull them up and read them for you guys today, as well as a few other ones that I found on the internet. Now, I know everybody watching this video is probably familiar with the book series Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and for those of you who've been living under a rock, it's pretty much the most iconic children's book of the past almost 20 years, pretty much. Due to its popularity, it has gained a very, very large fan base. So much so to the point where people are writing their own fan fiction, basically putting our hero, right, the man of the hour, the man himself, Greg Heffley, in crazy situations. And once again, today I'm going to be reading some of the most interesting Diary of a Wimpy Kid fan fiction that I've found on the internet. However, before I start, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications. I do upload every Friday. Aside from that, let's begin. Diary of a Wimpy Kid, 25 years later. Friday. Well, I haven't written in this thing in years. I was getting home from work today and I saw this thing lying under a stack of paperwork. I guess I used to like writing in it when I was a kid, so I figured I'd give it another try. There's a lot of catching up to do. Where to start? Rowley's gone. No, not dead or anything. He just moved away. He's lived in Boston for 7 years now, I think. I don't even remember anymore. I haven't spoken to him at all since he left. I still don't really want to talk about it. I work a good job, I guess. Me and Bryce Anderson work at this office downtown. I mean, it's not like I enjoy it, but it pays the bills. Am I happy? I'm not sure. Bro, this is already super depressing. Sunday. Roderick still lives in Plainville, like me, but not Manny. He decided he was too good for us and went to New York in his 20s. The rest of the family still hasn't forgiven him. Me and Roderick will still see him if he's in town, but not mom or dad. Speaking of which, they're still living in the same house. Yeah, it's pretty old now, but they seem good there. Roderick's married now. He met this woman about 8 years ago and they've got a kid. Is he implying that Loaded Diaper broke up? This is not how I wanted to start my day. I don't know if I'm jealous or what, but Roderick seems to be the one who knows what he's doing. Tuesday. Yeah, so Roderick's married. Me, I've never really thought about settling down. It's not like I don't get around. I do, but I've never actually had a serious relationship. Currently, I'm not seeing anyone. I guess I could say I've been busy with my job or something, but I'd just be making excuses. Work keeps me occupied, but it hasn't really been something I need to bring home. Plus, Bryce and I never really made it past being colleagues, so we don't do anything outside of the office. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Get to the hospital now, it's Dad. The cancer's gotten worse. Okay, I wasn't prepared for that. Wednesday, I guess I have to come clean. Dad was diagnosed with lung cancer over a year ago. He started treatment almost as soon as he found out. A couple months back, the doctors told us that the cancer went into remission and we wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. Then, during a checkup, they found another tumor, so I guess the doctors here are just bullshit. Mom hasn't really been taking it well, which I guess is totally fair. For now, their savings are just covering the medical bills, but that won't last forever. Thursday, you're never going to believe who just showed up at the hospital. That piece of shit Manny. After almost a decade, this is when he decides to see Dad? Damn it, Roderick must have told him. I like how he looks exactly the same, just minus the goofy buck teeth. I wish he told me instead of just letting him walk in unannounced. He's in the hospital lobby with me and Roderick right now, and Mom's with Dad. Neither of them know Manny's here yet. Manny wants to go and see them now, so I guess we have to let him. Get the fuck out of here right now. Thursday. It didn't take Manny long to leave after that. He tried to talk to us on the way out, but Roderick took care of that. I'm home right now, trying to think all this through. For the first time in a long while, I'm genuinely scared. Not just for Dad, but for myself. This is never what I thought my life would be like when I was a kid. Why couldn't I have that life? Is there something wrong with me? I need someone I can talk to about it. I don't think Mom and Dad have ever truly understood me, so not them. Roderick maybe, but I'm not gonna lie, him and his perfect life kind of intimidate me. Sure as hell not Manny. There's only one person I can think of who I actually want to talk to right now. Oh, he's gonna hit up Rowley. Okay, it's getting good now. Friday. All right, before I say what happened next, there's something I've needed to get off my chest for a long time, so here it goes. 7 years earlier. Riley and I were best friends. We had spent pretty much every day together since middle school. We went to college together and even moved into the same neighborhood afterwards. I was applying for a job at Fun Brain Games, the company that made Twisted Wizard. Riley had actually managed to get a Zooey Mama in the local paper. He got good pay, and from what I remember, he was doing a really good job. I was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life, but it only took one phone call for everything to change forever. 7 years earlier. So Riley got a call from this comic syndicate in Boston. They had seen his work and they wanted to offer him a position. The thing was, they only had room for one more cartoonist. So if Riley wanted the job, he'd have to move to Boston within 2 weeks. Now, I wasn't in a particularly good mood already because Fun Brain Games had just denied my application. So when Riley gave me the news that he'd be moving to Boston in 2 weeks, I was devastated. The day before he moved, I told him to meet me on the roof of our old middle school, for old time's sake. I had something I'd been waiting a long time to tell him that I needed to say before he was gone. I love you. Yeah, I love you too, man. No, I'm serious. I don't know if I'm bi or what, but I love you. He left the next morning. We haven't talked since. So I guess him liking Holly Hills throughout the entire series was just a front. Thursday. It's been 1 week since I tried to get in contact with Riley. He still hasn't responded. At this point, I've only got one option left. Oh shoot, bro, he's taking off. I'm not gay, Greg. Saturday. My father is dead. He's gone. I'll never see him again. I'll never be able to talk to him again. I'll never be able to tell him what I thought of him. What I really thought of him. This was the man who made me hide my sexuality for the last 3 decades. He's the reason I'm miserable. I remember when I was 16, I tried to tell him the truth. He didn't take it well. Holy shit, bro. He never talked to me about it again. I guess he figured I'd changed my mind. I should have gotten this off my chest when I had the chance. Should have told him when I could. I don't think I'll go to the funeral. Roger told me it will be on Monday, and I haven't even been in Plainville. I've been living in my car in Boston for the past 2 days. I guess this means I'll have to write down what I thought of him instead of actually saying it. Just like every other genuine emotion I've ever had. Fuck you, Dad. I do not remember it being this dark. Wednesday. The funeral was 2 days ago. I didn't go. I ended up driving back to Plainville yesterday because there's really nothing left for me in Boston. I found a termination letter from the office in my mailbox, which I guess I should have expected when I wasn't at work for a week. I realized I needed to have some sort of closure with Dad, so I decided to visit his grave last night. I guess I wasn't the only one with that idea though. When I arrived at the cemetery, I detected the smell of gasoline. It suddenly made sense when I saw Manny standing at Dad's grave with a lit match. Oh my gosh, dude, what the is going on? I don't know what I wanted to do there last night, but it sure as hell wasn't that. I feel sick. Yeah, I hope you didn't plan on doing that. Thursday. I couldn't deal with this by myself anymore. I needed someone to help me. It was only a matter of time before I became Manny, and after what I saw what he was capable of at the graveyard, I couldn't let that happen. I wasn't about to let this hate dominate my life anymore. I was scared of what Mom and Roderick would think of me after skipping the funeral. And I was pretty raw after what happened with Riley, so it took a lot of nerve and even more alcohol to do what I did next. Not Bryce, man. No, not Bryce. I'm not sure what I feel. What Bryce and I did this night isn't something I've ever done with another man. Like I said before, I've never been able to move on from Riley, but I think I just did. I think I'm happy. It's been so long, I don't even remember what that feels like. Oh my lord. Okay, so I can't actually read the full story because there's a lot of topics that YouTube will let's just say shut down, and I do eventually want to monetize this channel, so I cannot show the rest of the story. However, I will link it in the description for you guys if you do want to finish it. On to the next one though. Okay, I actually can't show the full story for this one either, but bear with me. I'm going to do my best to, make everything PG. Thursday. I found this in my closet the other day, and it made me very nostalgic. So much has changed since middle school. I'm now a junior in high school. Dad left the house, and now Mom is an alcoholic who doesn't even know who I am. Roderick is currently in jail for murdering Manny. The little shit deserved it. Roderick should be freed. If only I could do something about it. Okay, this is already insanely dark. If I thought the first one was bad, this is 10 times worse. Friday. I was at school today and something crazy happened. A meth lab was discovered in an old storage room. 3 seniors were running the whole thing and distributing it across the school. I had heard rumors about it, but I didn't think that it was real. These guys have been doing it for 2 years now. They even managed to get in during the summers. These guys, over the course of 2 years, had managed to make $200K each. I could really use that money. But I've got no one to talk to about it. Those idiots got caught and are going to jail for a long time. Saturday, I was driving back from GameStop with the new Twisted Wizard game, and I had a weird craving for a smoke. So I parked at the gas station, and I talked with Roderick's old bandmate Bill, who works there, and he hooked me up. I went to the alleyway and I saw Fregley shooting heroin. I kind of felt bad for him because he was one of the main distributors of the meth lab, and he lost his main source of income. I went up to him and said, "Hey, I heard about what happened with the meth lab. I'm sorry for what happened." He walked up to me slowly yet menacingly and said, "Those idiots were nowhere near careful enough for this thing to work out. It was only a matter of time." That's when it clicked. Fregley was the ringleader, and those 3 boys were merely just his workers. He was the mastermind behind the lab, and without thinking, I quickly said, "I want to make meth with you." Yeah, like I said, can't finish this one either, but I will be linking it in the description below. Shout out to the guy who wrote this one for letting me use it. Thank you so much. Even if it was only a small snippet. On to the next story. Oh wait, guess what? Can't finish this one either, so once again, bear with me. My draft notice arrived in the mail yesterday. I'm angry, but I knew this was inevitable. Oh well. "I think you'd look so handsome in a uniform." I asked Mom if she'd help me escape to Canada, but she wasn't much help. I'm gonna keep at it. What did Johnson say again? "I will not send American boys 8 or 10,000 miles to do a job that Vietnamese boys ought to be doing for themselves." Oh my gosh. Look, I hate the commies as much as the next guy, but this isn't our war to fight. The last thing I want is to die in some jungle and butt nowhere on the other side of the world, because President Johnson's ego is too big to end this war. I'll try to convince Dad about the Canada thing. He's as anti-war as they come. If not, I may have to take matters into my own hands. Oh no. I don't like how he doesn't have the days for his entries in this one. Well, I just arrived at basic training. I can't say that I'll enjoy it, but I can say this. Our dress uniforms are sharp. I'm sure these will help me pick up girls. You know what they say, women love a man in uniform. I've also made a new pal, Private Rowley Jefferson. I noticed he seemed a little nervous, so I kind of took him under my wing. Jefferson may seem a little clueless, but let me tell you, that guy can handle an M60 like no other. We did some combat exercises, and under fire, Jefferson is one of the finest, oh, they said human twice, human beings in the world. He's one of the humans of all time. All he needs is someone throwing hand grenades at him the rest of his life. I'm telling you, nothing phases this guy. The drill sergeant was telling us about combat stress and whatever. Jefferson is like a man of steel out there. Absolutely nothing distracts him from the mission at all. I can be the brain and he can be the brawn. I'm telling you, we'll be a great team. I think I downloaded the wrong version of Full Metal Jacket. Well, looks like this is it. Boot camp is done. I'm off to Vietnam. I'm scared. I've heard how long the average lifespan of grunts over there is, but I've been trained well enough, and who knows, maybe I'll get lucky when I have to. And I've got Jefferson to watch my back. Plus, I met this girl during basic, so I know I have something to fight for. I get on a ship tomorrow at the crack of dawn. Maybe I can see her one last time. Good night, USA. Good morning, Vietnam. We went on our first patrol tonight. They say that war is like 99% waiting around and 1% actual fighting, and that is completely fine by me. Let me tell you, walking around the rice paddies at night is eerie enough without the threat of a bunch of rice farmers jumping out at you. Sergeant Morris told us all about it, how the insert racial slur would always attack first and then blend in with the civilians like the cowards they were. He told us that out there, everyone is the enemy until they aren't, and sometimes you have to go to the extreme, but that brass usually looked the other way. I, for one, don't like the idea of shooting civilians, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. He's got the board to kill him. We were out on patrol one last night. Should have been a night like any other. Boy, was I ever wrong. I was looking down when it happened. One moment, all we hear is the soft sounds of the jungle. The next, the night is torn wide open by the screaming of those commies and the roar of an RPK. Sergeant Morris was hit first. As that poor bastard absorbed the worst of the opening barrage, we tried to retreat to the tree line, but we were caught in the wide open. We were utterly fucked. I blindly fired my M16 into the trees and grabbed Private Jefferson and hauled ass back towards camp. Disoriented and under shock, I didn't think we'd make it. You know, I know it's not my fault, but yet, I wish I'd been more alert. Those insert racial slur can sure plan an ambush, I have to give them that. Okay, so now on to the final entry. Okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to read this entire story. I don't even care. I'm probably going to have to censor some words and probably some pictures, but I don't care anymore. Day 1. Riley and I were making lemonade to cool off after some heavy rounds of Twisted Wizard. Not long after, Dad exclaimed to us that there's a ballistic missile heading towards our town in an hour and we need to evacuate immediately. Riley and I were unsure if this was actually happening. I then received a notification on my phone. Dad was right. We got everything we needed and loaded everything into the car as fast as humanly possible. We saw other cars pull out of their driveways the same time we did. 50 minutes left. Riley decided to tag along with us since his fat ass was too slow to run back home. Oh my lord, dude. Anyway, we started hitting the road. We found out we didn't have enough seats for Riley, so we taped Manny's legs to the roof of the car. I don't care, it works. My mom then thought that giving Manny a gun would eliminate traffic, which is a stupid idea, but she still did it. Whoever's sitting at home coming up with these stories, I need some of that creative juice you're cooking up, okay? This is like the best thing ever. A few minutes later, we heard a gunshot from the top of the car. Manny shot the gun and killed someone. We didn't know who he killed, but after Roger heard the gunshot, he started congratulating Manny and told him he's doing a quote-unquote good job. This family, I tell ya. I don't know if he's already read these or knows about them, but we need to get the actual author, the king, Jeff Kinney, to read some of these. 38 minutes left. Dad started speeding just to get to some underground bunker in a park miles away so we could settle there during the nuclear fallout. Manny is on a shooting rampage right now, killing pedestrians left and right, just to shave a few seconds. Riley's been biting his nails the entire ride. Yeah, Manny Heffley's the last person I'd trust with a firearm, just saying. Dad said we could haul all of our stuff into the bunker in about 10 minutes. I'm not sure if we'll be able to get the tape off Manny's shoes in time. I hope Dad brought some spare drummies. I didn't even have lunch today. If you're running away from a ballistic missile, food's probably the last thing you should be thinking about. Just a hunch. I managed to pack my Xbox, but I forgot Formula 1 racing at home. Riley's gonna be pissed. I wish Holly was with us. 32 minutes left. We're getting really close to the bunker. Dad said we'll have time to spare if we don't get distracted, but we then heard a faint scream and a whack. When we all checked to see what happened, Manny flew off the car, hit the tunnel wall, and died. Oh man, this is the best thing I've ever read. I cannot stress that enough. It was an absolute bloodbath. I wish I had the red ink to show it because Manny was pouring blood out of every severed limb. Okay, I need to pray after this. We have no idea where the gun went though, and that's the only weapon we packed. This is not a good sign. 30 minutes left. After the Manny incident, we kept driving. Not long after, another family trying to escape pointed back, trying to signal something. Turns out there's a car that's driving 120 miles per hour and is crashing into every car and still running. We parked into an empty parking lot just in time before the car came in and killed us all. I can't say the same for the other family though. Oh yeah, RIP the other family. There's no coming back from that. If we were as little as a second behind, we'd all be dead. We got insanely lucky on this. If we can survive that, we can definitely survive the missile. 22 minutes left. Remember when we taped Manny to the roof of our car? Turns out other people did that too because Dad was assassinated from a bullet to the head. After we heard the gunfire, Mom pulled the emergency brake and we all took cover. To the best of our extent. Shots were still being fired at our car, and luckily nobody was hurt from the bullets. The windows, not really the same story, as Riley got cut deep in his arms and legs. I found a disinfectant and some band-aids in a first aid kit, and that helped him to stop crying about it. Yeah, I can't show this drawing, but I'll link it down below for you guys to check out later. We had to dump Dad off the side of the road, and Mom had to take the wheel. She immediately went ham on the gas pedal. For a while, the ride was perfectly fine, until we ran out of gas. There were no open gas stations, so we had two choices. Run to the bunker on foot with all of our supplies, or jack someone's car. What did you think we chose? 18 minutes left. There was a family of 3 getting into a car that was right next to us when we ran out of gas. These dumbasses placed a shotgun on the roof of their car, and thanks to that, we easily offed those frickers. Turns out they have a lot more supplies than we did in our car. They even packed drummies, 5 boxes of them, in fact. There was a slight, and by slight I mean huge, problem with our car raid though. People saw what we were doing and not long after they tried to kill us. Not for our new supply haul, oh no, but for killing those 3 idiots. Were they their cousins? Well, I never got an answer to that. As Roderick slammed them in the head with a bat, but they then beat the absolute shit out of Roderick. I had to escort him back to the car before they could deal any more damage to him. He could have died. For the entry it just says holy f. Effing Roderick, the gosh darn piece of shiz. We were loading the effing bags into the bunker and the bitch jumped in and locked us out before we could even toss him all the drummies. That mother effer left us to die. Hashtag not my Roderick, am I right? Question mark, question mark, question mark? Well, I guess this is it. I'm going to die. The bomb's already gone off. I can feel the heat on my face. I'm not making it out of this. Well, I guess there are worse ways to die. At least I've got my best friend and mom right next to me. Manny, Dad, I'll see you too soon. The end. Dude, I barely made it through this recording. I was crying laughing at certain points. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I never thought Greg Heffley fighting in the Vietnam War would cure my depression. That's gonna wrap it up for today's video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different from all my other uploads, but I'm trying to do some other stuff besides just stories. I wanted to make sure you guys are all following me on Instagram and TikTok at Stories with Sunny. And I've mentioned before in the past, I will be doing a series where I tell your guys' stories in a future video. So if you have a juicy, groundbreaking story that you want me to tell, I will tell it for you. Make sure to email it to me at storieswithsunny@gmail.com. And once again, I will add it in a future video. If you have not already, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications. Once again, I do post every single Friday. But aside from that, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. See you guys next week.